I know he's in a fear state because he will change his. If you notice, if I'm closer, he's a little faster. Hello there, and welcome back. We're going to get back into our tutorial for artificial intelligence. This is getting really into the coding and getting everything set up. So what we've done is set the groundwork, and we've imported the different states that we're going to have our bunny in. So what our AI is going to essentially do is direct what state the transitions from one state to the other and in the directions that the bunny will be preferring to do. We're also created a carrot so the bunny has something to eat. So we're going to go in under the objects, and we're going to create a group, and we're going to, or actually for right now, we're just going to make this the carrot for right now. So we're going to create, now we're going to create our group. We're going to call it a parent group. This is where we're going to put things that are actually parents to different things. So like our highlight, our action. What we're going to create here, we're going to create just a food. We're going to create an animal. We're going to create an animal enemy. So we're going to make the carrot food, and we're going to make the player an animal enemy. You may have to eventually, depending on all the attributes we may add for this boy, we may have to nest them into different things. So like, it's an animal enemy, he's a something to eventually where he's the boy. But for now, that's all we're going to add is just the two different layers. We're also going to just go ahead and create a group for food, since that seems to be something that's recurring in this world. Before we get too far, we're going to go in here and change our configurations. We had before some ones for our ice, our dirt, and our mud, and we're going to add some more for different states that we had before. And these are ones we discussed in one of our previous videos. Now we're going to create some direction words, and we're going to actually assign them specific values because we'll use them in our calculations. So right will be 0, up will be 1, left will be 2, down will be 3. The reason why we're going to do this is because we're going to say 90 degrees is 0. 90 if you're going right, 90 times 0 is 0. 90 times 1 is 90, which is going up. 90 times 2 is 180, which would be the left, and 90 times 3 is 360 going down. So we're going to use these, even though we're not going to make the red completely free roaming as far as he's going to be set to like one animation up, right, left, and down. So we're going to restrict it somewhat. So now we're going to create, I guess we'll need to move it, our bunny. I'm going to give him the basic idle. Let's go ahead and move him just in general down here. We'll need to eventually clean this up. So in our bunny, we're going to make him an animal. Go ahead and do a create event. All right, so for the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a create a direction. We're going to go ahead and set him to right, and then this will highlight because we have it saved as a part of our macro. So we'll go ahead and make sure this is saved so it doesn't change on us. We're going to give him a basic move rate, and then we're going to give him a run rate, and we're going to give him assign him a basic state. We're also going to create a generic info so we can show what information about our bunny at any given point in time. So we're just going to use this for messaging so we can debug it. This isn't something that we definitely need to have later. So we're going to start the bunny in idle. and we're going to change our image speed. Now, when we're setting up the bunny's different animations, it's really important to make sure you want to have a consistent number of images. Well, not necessarily number of images, but when you create the animations, they need to be able to be played at the same rate. And you can, but it's just an extra headache to make sure everything's being switching the image speed. So you just want to make sure it's pretty consistent when you actually plan out your animations. And we're going to give it a target X and a target Y. So I'll just leave it to himself. So we're going to use this for what the bunny is interested in. So yeah, we're looking at what the bunny is interested in. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to create step events, and this is going to be him actually just the pure movement of the rabbit. So we're going to do create a variable. His movement rate will be 0 unless we actually determine he's going to be moving. So if the state is he's in fear, we'll call it his run rate. If he's in his wander state, then his rate will be just a generic run rate. Otherwise, we're not actually going to move him. So if direction is right, so yeah, really, we're not doing anything fancy with Rabbit. He's a very simple movement. We're going to be moving him if he's in one of these two states and at different rates. Otherwise, we're not actually going to move him, and we're going to set his depth when we're done. That's just really a very simple method of getting him to move around. So what we're now going to do is go ahead and we're going to create a draw event. And the reason why we're going to do this is we're going to add a debug. And this is just for the testing that really needs to be done when you're working with AI. And any way you can debug your person and figure out what your object is thinking, that's really a great tool to use. So we're going to give him some other additional attributes. We're going to give him a fear distance. We're going to get a food distance, like how far the rabbit can see food. We're going to add some other things here that we will need for our rabbit to make decisions. So we'll call this our food level. Make it something more simple. Food and belly. Start him off with all the food. Hunger level will be 50. Starve level is 5. So what we'll do is every time once we get, and this is really to influence decisions. So if he's got food in his belly, he doesn't really care. He's never going to pay attention to whether he needs food. If he's if he's starting to get hungry, he's going to start searching out some food. And then if he's starving, he's going to basically override his safety to get some food. Don't really know how realistic that is for a rabbit, but we'll say that is. Then, so sleep level. All right, we'll call this sleepy, and a must sleep level, like 200. So once it gets sleepy, he's going to try to think about taking a nap or taking it easier. So I think those are the things we're going to talk about. Food and sleep. We'll eventually deal with the love of the bunny later, but right now that's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, so this is our food. distance, and our fear distance. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the bunny in the room. He's not going to do anything because we haven't told him to do anything. I'm going to put him right here below this tree. We're going to deal with one bunny at a time until we're ready to do some additional logic. Alright, so we need to, we know our bunny's in here somewhere. So, oh. So yeah, there. He's, our little bunny's guys, he's going a little too fast. He's obviously not going to make any decisions because we haven't done anything. So let's go ahead and there. So our little bunny in the corner, he's doing nothing, but so we have this distance from him. This is what he's going to care about. I'm going to get the logic going. So let's go ahead and so our rabbit's not doing anything. Okay, so we're going to create a next state as well, because we're going to keep track of what he's doing now, and then we're going to have him go as well if we need to change things. So in the add event, we're going to go over here. We're going to add all our stuff to this animation end. This is where we're going to control. Like I said, we're really controlling the difference between the animations for this. And that's really the decision you have to make of when you're actually going to make your object think. If you're going to do it every round, that's something you need to control, be able to control that. In this case, it's pretty easy just because we're doing at the end of every animation, so we don't have any weird transitions or weird things that'll go on. So here we're going to add a couple of placeholders. Well, so we're going to add one. Am I scared? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Then at the end, we're going to say, where do I go? Because if he's not, remember our tree, it was, if he's scared, he's going to want to run. If he's going to want to wander, or if he's, then he's going to do these other things. But if he's scared, that's his number one idea. And then at the end, we'll be like, oh, he's scared. We're going to make him go somewhere different. So we're going to say if fear distance is less than, we're going to find the distance to the object, and we're going to find the nearest enemy to an enemy to our animal. So we're really checking our distance. So our next state is going to be a fear. Am I scared? Up here we're going to. So our initial thought is, hey, we're just going to hang out. We're a dumb bunny. We're not going to do anything. And we can use this if we're do some other things eventually if we do sequences, but right now we're just going to say what's his next state. So if something's scaring me, I've got a fear. Okay. Now we can take that same logic, say. Now we got to say if our next state is not going to be a fear. Actually, what we need to do first, we're going to change this. All right, so we need to, if there's nothing to fear, okay, so we are going to do this because what if there's no food? If there's nothing for the rabbit to get anywhere to get scared of, we may want to just skip this. So if there's a fear object somewhere, then we're going to say, oh, well, is this fear object the nearest one? So we're going to kind of use the same logic for the other one. Because, what if we put a bunch of carrots out there and all of a sudden he eats them all? Then we don't really want him to it'll give us an error because there's nothing, we're checking against nothing. So for food object exists in our food distance. So we're going to be hungry. And right now there's nothing we're going to, we can do this, let's see. Okay, if next state is not equal to fear, the food in our belly is less than our hungry level. Oh, that's the other one. Sorry. For our sleep level, it's greater than our being sleepy. Our next state is going to be equal to sleep. So every round we go through our animation, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to say food in our belly. All right, our sleep level is going to increase by 1. Actually, we're going to try to keep variables, hard-coded values out of these sub-procedures. That way you can set everything in one place. Go to hunger rate. We're just going to change it to if he's in a state of fear, he's going to get hungry faster because he's moving faster. So start thinking. We're going to have our next step. Next step is idle. Next state. We're already in a state. For sleepy, we're going to get sleepier. Okay, so we're starting our thinking. Are we scared, hungry, tired, and where to go? For next date, it's going to be fear. We'll handle it differently. Reason is because we're our target is going to be different. Here, what we're doing is we're taking our target from where we are and finding the nearest one. So we already know there's an enemy. So we wouldn't be in a state of fear unless there's an enemy. So then we're going to just say a target. Okay, so if we're hungry, then we're going to find our nearest food. Okay, so these are the two things we've done. We've said, hey, if we're scared, let's find what we're scared of. If we're hungry, let's see if we're not sure if there is. So we're doing the check. We're going to say, is there food? So if our next state is not equal to fear, actually that's and target equals no one. Or let's see. Okay. So we're not in a fear state, and we're either target equals no one or next state equals wander. We're just gonna, instead of making him idle, we're gonna make him wander all the time. So we're not in a fear state, and we don't have target, or we're just wandering. So what we're doing here, and we'll refine this eventually, but we are going to pick a target that's random to our position. So we either got a target here, or target here. Otherwise, there shouldn't be a target. All right, if our target is to the left, our target is less than y, so left or up, we are going to choose a direction, left or up. All right, so we're going to say left, down, right, up, right, down. Alright, our target is greater than... There we go. So this should actually get our rabbit to start moving. Let's see if he actually does. No. Because we didn't to tell him to start going. Let's try that. Alright, so he's still not going, would it? So one thing we're going to do is we are going to go in here and we're going to draw a line. Color line, which is from a rabbit to what he might be interested in. So it should just be drawing around in random directions, at least where he's thinking about going. Okay, yeah, so here he's, go over next to him. He's randomly thinking about going directions, but he's not moving. And then if we go in the circle, actually it should stay on us, but here. Yeah, this is probably definitely need to fix that. I run too fast once he decides to move. So start thinking next state. Make sure we have the word next state here. Next state. So let's go ahead and add another draw GUI event that is going to tell us the state he's going to be in. Alright, so the state he's in is 10,003. Should we go back and look? Oh, so he's hungry. That's why he's not moving. Let's go check his hungry thing. He's not scared. Oh, if there is no food, and then food distance will be greater. So the food distance, so this is 100 and he's closer. There we go. Now if he's scared, add that backwards. So if there's a fear object, and if it's not equal to no one, so I had that wrong. Tired. Alright, so he's now moving. I don't have him changing direction, but he's moving based on so if I get close enough to him at this point, he will pay attention exactly to where I am. Next time what we're going to do is we're going to now that he's moving around, I know he's in a fear state because he will change his, if you notice, if I'm closer, he's a little faster. If I'm further away, he goes back to the normal rate. So we know that's working. And the other is he pays exact attention to where I'm at. But if I'm outside of his circle, he just kind of, I'm going somewhere. So next time what we'll do is we'll work on him running away from me, and then we'll add in the food so he actually, when he gets hungry, he's going to actually move towards the food. And then we'll add in, after that, we'll do some other things like sleep and making more bunnies. So until next time, good luck.